Greetings, everyone. We are going to go into chapter one now, just a brief introduction as well, because we did the longer introduction. Now we're going to do a little bit of an introduction leading into chapter one, just so you have an idea of what's going on and what to expect from this book, what it is and what it is not, and so on. So, I mentioned in the introductory video that if you go to the very front of my book, there is a foreword from a medical doctor friend of mine, a student of mine, and became a friend as well, and Dr. Bill Bergman. And it is right here in the very front of the book. And from there, we're going to go into testimonials. But the first testimonial actually comes within the foreword. And Dr. Bill says, right here, I remember attending a program with David and fellow students in Boulder a number of years ago. David was leading the group breathing exercise, and after a number of minutes, I felt this surging rush of energy throughout my arms and body that I can only explain as a raging river of energy. That was truly amazing. It was, needless to say, very profound, exhilarating, and unforgettable. In my more than 45 years in medicine and healthcare, after graduating from medical school at the Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons, I have always emphasized cellular health as the fundamental factor in promoting well being and preventing disease. This means that the more we can provide oxygen and nutrients to the cells, and the more we can activate the pathways for cellular detoxification, the healthier the body's 100 trillion cells will be. So anyway, Dr. Bill uh, writes this forward and talks about the raging river and sort of the oxygenation of his cells and what that experience felt like for him. So uh, anyway, you'll see that in the beginning of the book if you're interested. And then we go on to the testimonials. Okay, so once we get in here, and I'm sorry, it's kind of dark in here tonight, and so I have a light on me at the moment. And when I bring that book too close, you can't even see anything, like blurs out. But anyway, uh, let's see. Anyway, we have a bunch of testimonials that are in here, and these are some things you might want to check out. I'm going to read one here real quick just to give you a little idea. I recently participated in a weekend medical Qigong intensive with David Coon. We do these, this is my Tony Robbins version. Tony Robbins does these like long weekends and they're really designed to like gain momentum and so on. And they do these like 4-day programs and stuff. Anyway, we do a 2-day program. We offer CEUs for acupuncturists and massage therapists. And literally all weekend, I am teaching Qigong, I'm teaching meditation, I'm teaching medical Qigong, I am offering empowering and awakening lecture and therefore mindfulness practices, which this book is also full of. I really weigh heavy on the mindfulness side of things in the book, as opposed to physical practices, which I typically show you on YouTube and show you at the seminars and so on. I find it's a little easier to do on video or in person than it is to try and put it in the book, although there's a few of those as well. But anyway, uh, these seminars are life-changing and people can get CEUs for them and so on. So just FYI. We also have them recorded on video, so you can watch some of those at home at your convenience as well. The sessions were well organized and well balanced between information and hands-on activities, reminding us that true Qigong is something quite beyond exercise. Love that because exercise is very important. It is very healing, but there are secrets to Qigong that take it beyond just everyday exercise. She says, and this is one of the things I love this testimonial because it helps express something that I'm always talking about with Qigong. She says, David is a testament to his own mastery and his commitment to practicing and teaching medical Qigong may very well result in a resurrection in the United States of a much neglected branch of Chinese medicine. This is from Robin Whitlow, and she is a diplomat in acupuncture, diplomat in Chinese herbology, licensed acupuncturist from Hillsborough, North Carolina. So one of the things I love though is that I'm a walking testament, okay, a walking monument, okay, because again, that comes back to the idea of not just talking about these things, but practicing them, because the new habit is what we begin to embody, and when you do that just long enough, that's when you get the changes that you're seeking. All right. without further ado, let's just jump into a brief idea here. So we have a little bit of a introduction. I kind of went through the intro already. I'm sure there's a slightly different version of that in this intro, but you can check that out if you desire. Chapter one is starts out and it says, "How does it work?" The quote that I chose, because I choose a quote at the beginning of every one of these chapters, and the first quote I chose is from Dr. Oz. If you're familiar with Oprah Winfrey's Dr. Oz, it says, "If you want to be healthy and live to 100 years, do Qigong," from Dr. Oz. So I already told you my story already. 25 years old, they're saying my spine looks like I'm 85. You know, at 55 years young, I seem to have a lot more health and vitality and strength and all these other things that a lot of other people do around me. So take that for what it's worth. Um, so, in this particular chapter, we talk a little bit about how it works and what is chi, and how chi is energy, could be loosely translated as energy. In Asia, it's referred to, for example, as a universal life force. There are many scientists these days talking about bioelectricity and how it is that when we're breathing in air, we're not just breathing some, I don't know, just air, but we're literally breathing in bioelectricity. We're literally breathing that in, and it's literally charging our batteries. Okay, so it's more than just oxygen in the air. And I talk a little bit about breathing habits and poor breathing habits versus good breathing habits. So breathing is a very important aspect. So there's a couple little highlights of what I talk about in chapter one. Chapter two, I'm going to go right into chapter two. Like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to do two chapters per video or one or what, but anyway, we're going to do a second one because it looks like we got a little bit more time here. So, chapter two is harnessing your energy. So, the quote that I chose for chapter two is that people always ask me when they see me working out, "What are you training for?" The answer is, "I'm training for life." This is from Laird Hamilton, the big wave surfer. And when we talk about Qigong, we're talking about harnessing energy. Most of you probably already know that, maybe, but like, what is that? How does that work? Okay, so there are different places within the body and within the being where we can harness energy. One of the most important in the body is this area in the lower belly called the lower dantian in Chinese medicine. In Japanese martial arts, we call that area the hara. The technical location of it is about 3 finger widths below the navel center. So if you put these 3 fingers below your navel center, that is the lowest part of the lower dantian. And that area now is being referred to as the second brain in Western science. Many scientists are suggesting and researchers are suggesting that that part of the gut should be referred to as the first brain because it responds so much to what's going on in the world around us faster than this brain in our head. Now, that area of lower dantian is very, very important when it comes to physical practices of Qigong. And for me, I have seen, I have studied, I've worked with people in the yoga world, the meditation world, the Qigong world, the martial art world. And whenever I've sat with masters, whenever I've sat with very high level gurus, this area of the lower gut, this area of lower dantian, or in yogic practices, this is the location of the nadi's egg. Okay, it is seen to be an area that can be charged and also lose its charge. So, learning how to charge this lower battery is a thing and it is a practice. And you can start doing it right away, but it took me years of practicing it to understand what energy even is. Like, for the first few years, sure, maybe I had more energy, but now literally as I'm getting older, so to speak, like physically, just turned 55, Um, I have a much greater reference for this concept and this idea of energy, and my energy is through the roof in comparison to what most people experience. I will literally be standing there after 2.5 hours of jujitsu class, and one of my fellow students will say, "Man, I'm getting too old for this." And I giggle and I look over and I say, "How old are you, by the way?" And they say 28 or they say 23. And I go, "Yeah, well, you got a long ways to go." So, uh, the level of energy, the quality of energy, this is where the practice gets further and further refined, and there is a lot to understand there. No way I can teach it to you in one video because not only did I write a whole book about it, like I said, I have this book, but I have 8 mini books. They're not in physical form. They're all online now. It's like an ebook online. So, but when you take the courses that we offer, again, for certification or just in general, you want to just take it for yourself. These courses have a bunch of material with them that go into the details of the chakras and the details of not just the first lower dantian, but we also have a middle dantian and we have an upper dantian. These are very, very important reservoirs that harness energy, and they have to do with everything going on in your life, not just your physical health, but your emotional relationships, your job, you name it. These things, quote unquote things, these energy centers are creating your reality. And your mind is orchestrating the whole thing, which is why there is a significant emphasis on the mind in this book. Because where the mind goes, energy follows, and so we have to become more disciplined with our practices of our mind. So that's a little highlight of chapters 1 and 2. Check them out if you're interested. And we're going to do a little video for chapter 3 and probably 4 as well.